Now on CoastTV News.
A high school basketball coach is facing felony and misdemeanor charges. What court documents say about the investigation. Forced out. A locally owned boutique must leave its Tanger Outlets location in a month. How Saltwater Roots plans to move forward.
A Saturday soaker on the way. A yellow alert for moderate to heavy rain on Saturday, then drier and colder on Sunday. I'll track it on a futurecast coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
A Stephen Decatur high school basketball coach facing sex charges involving a child. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. It's our top story tonight. Court documents show an arrest warrant for Brian Johnson issued on Wednesday. He's currently being held without bond. Johnson facing felony sex offense charges, a misdemeanor fourth-degree sex offense, and misdemeanor second-degree assault. Court documents show that Ocean Pines police were called to a home on Tuesday for reports of a sexual incident that had allegedly happened the night before. Police say they met with the child victim, who is under the age of 14. Records show that the child was then taken to Atlantic General Hospital and interviewed at the Child Advocacy Center. The Stephen Decatur High School website also lists Johnson as an educational assistant. Now, Worcester County Public Schools said it could not comment on personnel matters, but it did say in a statement today, in part, quote, "The school system took all necessary steps to ensure the safety of our students as soon as school system was notified of the allegations." A preliminary hearing for Johnson scheduled for January 30th at the Worcester County District Court in Snow Hill. Meanwhile, Delaware could remove a major barrier when it comes to reporting sexual offenses. A new bill would give limited immunity to victims or witnesses who come forward, protecting them from low-level drug or alcohol charges that may be discovered during their report. Under the proposal, people who seek help in good faith could not be charged, arrested, or prosecuted. And Delaware's General Assembly reconvenes on Tuesday in Dover. An update now about the beached whale in Bethany Beach. Mayor says the whale washed ashore yesterday. It was actually first spotted 2 days earlier, floating off the Indian River Inlet. And Coast TV reporter Emma Aiken shows us Mayor now working to determine the whale's cause of death.
It's an unusual sight, but not unknown here on the coast. Mayor says this 30-foot young humpback whale beached near Bethany Thursday. You can see the male's swollen tongue here. Friday, Mayor, with the help of heavy machinery from DENREC, moved the mammal out of the water and onto the beach. Michael Rayan was strolling on the sand and stopped to check out the scene.
It's nature doing its thing, and it's sad, but it's how we all, it all happens.
You can see crews here working to perform a necropsy, which is an autopsy for animals, in hopes of determining the cause of death. Carol Spencer is curious to hear those results.
It's a part of nature depending on how it died when they find out. I mean, if it swallowed a plastic bag, it'll make me angry. But if it had a disease and it,
For similar situations in the past, crews have buried beached whales beneath the sand, a process that goes back into helping the ecosystem. Onlookers watching as majesty and tragedy fills the air. In Bethany Beach, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
And our viewers would remember a 30-foot, 14-ton humpback whale washed ashore at Conquest Road in Delaware Seashore State Park last year. This video on your screen is from March 2025. Now, according to the Mare Institute, that young female was later buried. It can help the ecosystem, as Emma Aiken mentioned, by allowing other organisms to feed on it. Now we're looking live outside into Lewis, and our first alert meteorologist Bob Trihey joins us now with a check on the forecast. Bob, it's starting to rain out there.
Absolutely, Christina. Some nuisance showers we've seen this evening, just enough to get the wipers going. And we look at our radar replay from the last couple of hours, and some showers moving through Sussex County. Right now, just cloudy skies. Those showers have moved offshore. We can still see a few more as we go through the evening hours. Otherwise, cloudy skies, and you can see still a smattering of showers farther to the south. We've got a warm front lifting through right now, and there is more moisture back through the Tennessee Valley in the southeast, and that will be the rain that will move in as we go go into tomorrow. Right now it's mild out there, 60 in Georgetown and Millsboro, 63 in Lewis with Bethany Beach 58 and 60 in Willards, as we have light southwesterly breezes gusting up to about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's Futurecast as we go into the midnight hours. We're looking at temperatures into the mid to upper 70s and still that chance of a shower or patchy fog developing too as we go through the overnight, as we go from the 50s into the 40s. Then here comes the rain, and it will be steady to maybe even moderate to heavy as we go into the latter part of Saturday morning. So tomorrow's going to be a washout. It's a yellow alert day for the potential of some minor flooding. As you can see on the day part forecast, it is rain icons all the way from 6 a.m. till 4 p.m. But then things improve as we go into Sunday, but then it gets colder. I'll have much more on your weekend forecast, plus track this rain on Futurecast coming up a little bit later on.
All right, thank you, Bob. Well, the Saltwater Roots Boutique will be leaving the Tanger Outlets. The locally owned boutique made the announcement today, saying a national chain is taking over the space, giving the boutique just 30 days to vacate its current location. The owners calling the situation devastating and heartbreaking. Saltwater Roots said it will continue hosting vendor shows and plans to expand those events throughout Delaware. After almost a year of anticipation and construction, a new Brazilian steakhouse, Nossa Cacias, located in Millsboro, is preparing to welcome its first guests in Millsboro. They're having a soft opening Tuesday, January 13th from 4 to 9. It's all you can eat. The owners previously told CoastTV that they moved from Brazil to Sussex County. It's time to get ready for a smoother walk or a smoother bike ride. Crews have finished paving the Georgetown-Lewis Trail between Fisher Road and Harbison Road. Walkers on the finished sections told us they're pleased with the progress.
Now this is open. It's a long time coming, and I'm glad it is. You know, the state did a fine job with it as far as contracting with the company that put the blacktop down. It's nice and smooth all the way up.
It looks nice and smooth, and the project is still on track to wrap up in late 2026. Once the final phase is complete, the Georgetown-Lewis Trail will become the longest continuous trail here in Delaware. The town of Selbyville adopted new parking restrictions this week by the Mount Air Farms plant in hopes of improving safety there. The restrictions stretch from both the west and east sides of Railroad Avenue. That's from Cemetery Road to West McCabe Street. Selbyville officials say no crosswalk there was forcing Mount Air employees to walk in the road. Community members, though, a little bit conflicted about the changes.
Yeah, but sometimes I will notice because it makes me see and look at my watch to know what time it is. But sometimes I'm watching them come as early as 3:30 and sit and wait.
You've got the whole road available. It's not like they're parked in the middle of the road, you know what I mean? So it's like there's no issues for me. And I use that road 3 or 4 times a day.
The fine for the parking restrictions, about $10 there in Selbyville. On the national front tonight, new footage captured by an ICE agent is giving the public a new perspective of the deadly shooting of a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday. But as Lee Waldman reports, there's still intense scrutiny over the incident and the investigation.
Come talk to us later.
Cell phone video captured by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent shows a different angle of the moments leading up to the deadly shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis Wednesday.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
The Department of Homeland Security says the new footage confirms the officer was in fear of his own life, the lives of his fellow officers, and acted in self-defense. President Trump weighed in Friday afternoon.
You have agitators, and we will always be protecting ICE, and we're always going to be protecting our Border Patrol and our law enforcement.
The FBI is in charge of the probe, but state and local leaders are still asking to be involved with the investigation.
While I respect the FBI's process, our community's expectations are much different in terms of transparency. To that end, I cannot overstate the importance of a local investigation, or at least access to the federal investigation.
As the city of Minneapolis grapples with the events of this week and the ongoing immigration crackdown, the death of Good is fueling frustration in communities beyond Minnesota.
What do we want? ICE out! When do we want it? Now!
Advocacy groups say more than 1,000 demonstrations are scheduled this weekend across the country. In Minneapolis, I'm Lee Waldman.
One of those demonstrations happening here in Delaware, a candlelight vigil planned in Dover on Sunday, January 11th at 4 p.m. This is at Legislative Hall to mourn the loss of Renee Good, who was shot and killed by ICE on Wednesday. The peaceful vigil will be held by the Delaware Democratic Socialists of America and some other organizations. And we are just getting started. More news coming up ahead, including a demolition date confirmed, when you'll see walls coming down and why it's taking so long in Rehoboth. But first, from the arcade to the ocean, there's a little fun waiting for you this weekend. Stay tuned for your cool things to do. And Bob Trehey is in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center tracking your forecast. He says some rain is going to start the weekend, but then a drier and cooler Sunday. He's got your full forecast in just a bit. If your New Year's resolution is to have more fun in 2026, this is a great weekend for you. Let's begin at Zelke's Beach Arcade in Rehoboth. They're hosting a play-a-thon starting at 10 a.m. on Saturday. It's all games, prizes, and giveaways. And let's be honest, no one is too old for skee ball. Or if you're more into coastal wildlife, you can grab a jacket and head out with Cape Water Tours. Seal season is here, and the Mare Institute will be on board to tell you all about these cute little creatures. That's at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Over at Cape Henlopen State Park, you've got options. Saturday at 11, there's Art in the Park, a chance to walk the trails and sketch the natural world. Or if your weekend plans include a wagging tail, Sunday's Pack Walk at Gordon's Pond is a great excuse to get outside. All breeds are welcome, leashes are required, and the walk gets moving right at 11 a.m. And Saturday night in Millsboro, it's time for Designer Bag Bingo. The event starts at 5:30 at the Indian River Fire Hall. Proceeds support the Millsboro Bagel Bombers. That's a travel baseball team. For all the details, you can head over to CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
We've seen a nice break from the winter cold the past few days, and today, no exception. Boy, was it nice. 64 in Georgetown and Salisbury, a little cooler at the coast, 59 in Ocean City with Cambridge and Easton at 59 degrees. Here's a look at our Drytech cam, the Embers cam, and we're looking at quiet conditions right now. We have seen some nuisance showers out there, and you'll still need the rain gear tonight. Still some scattered showers, a little bit of patchy fog, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Then as we head into your Saturday, it's a yellow alert day. It's going to be a soaker. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Could see some flooding, especially in poor drainage areas. Then it turns colder and blustery as we go into your Sunday. Temperatures now still mild. 59 in Milton, 60 in Millsboro, Gumboro 62. A little cooler in Ocean Pines at 50 with 59 at Indian River Inlet. The winds have calmed down. They were a little gusty earlier on. Now we're seeing southwesterly winds around 6 to 12 miles per hour. They'll be light through the overnight hour, and we're looking at the radar cloud composite, and then you can see some of those showers that were moving through parts of Delmarva a little earlier this evening. Just kind of a nuisance just to get the wipers going. Those have moved offshore, and now we're just mainly cloudy with just maybe a few sprinkles, I think, for the rest of the overnight. We have some more showers back to the south through Virginia, and then we're watching this cold front and low pressure developing across the mid-Atlantic and the southeast as we're looking at a lot of rain across the deep south, and all of this will be heading our way as we head into Saturday. It's going to be a wet one. As we go for the balance of the overnight, temperatures in the 50s with mostly cloudy skies. Then we'll see those showers developing more so in the morning hours, becoming a steady rain later in the morning and maybe heavy too. And into the afternoon, you see these yellow and orange colors. That could be some rumbles of thunder, so don't be surprised to hear a little bit of thunder as the winds pick up as we go into the evening hours, and still kind of rainy rainy, I think, into your Saturday evening, and still some lingering showers late Saturday into early Sunday. Then the cold front comes through. We'll see a northwesterly wind, and it's going to get cold by afternoon. We're in the 40s, and this model is showing a little burst of some rain and snow Sunday afternoon, but it's not going to be anything significant. We could pick up over an inch of rain in some places from this event as we go through tomorrow. And along the coast on Saturday, it's going to be a wet one. Lewis 57, Dewey Beach 57, Ocean City, lots of rain, and 53 as the winds are picking up out of the south, pretty gusty into Saturday evening. And then we go into Sunday, and they're still pretty strong as colder air builds in and still gusting over 30 miles per hour into Sunday evening. As we go into next weekend, we're looking at below normal temperatures. It's going to get colder, and it's going to get stormier too. One system on Thursday could bring some rain and snow, and then maybe a stronger system brings more rain and snow Sunday into Monday. So winter's not done by any means. 46 tonight, occasional showers, patchy fog, rain likely tomorrow, heavy at times. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Sunday is blustery and colder, 47, 43 Monday, lower 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. Then that chance for rain and snow Thursday, colder, partly cloudy Friday, and a high of 37.
Wow, from the 60s to rain and snow. How does that work? Thank you, Bob. Well, you're looking now at the site of the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel. It's looked like this since last fall. The old Sirocco Motel and North End Grottos completely destroyed, but that was just the first phase of demolition. The second phase has been delayed, and now we know why. Coast TV reporter Brandon Ferguson shows us the new timeline for the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel.
Structural damage near the old Sirocco Hotel. That's why the development group behind the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel is pushing the project back months.
You know, things happen.
It's kind of a blight on Rehoboth, unfortunately.
Demolition for the remaining buildings in this project, including the Zelke's, Old Dolly's building, and Corbros, will start in September. So these businesses will be able to open for this summer. Jim Alco has lived in Rehoboth Beach for over 20 years. Alco thinks with more and more major projects like the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel, the city is losing its small town feel.
Some of these buildings are so old that there's some things that you get into. Again, I'm not an structural engineer, but I think you get into some things and you get into some surprises.
When it's all said and done, the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel will have 4 floors, an underground parking garage, and retail space on the first floor. Jerry Kernan lives in Rehoboth Beach and thinks the new timeline makes sense.
All this will be done in the off season this coming fall, and it won't disrupt the visitors, the tourists who are coming to the town.
Kernan says new projects like this are nothing but good for the city.
Any new improvement is always a great thing for Rehoboth in general and the boardwalk specifically, because you're not going to lose too many vendors.
Right now, the city of Rehoboth Beach says the entire One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel that will stretch from Rehoboth Avenue all the way to the new life-saving station will be done by summer of 2028. In Rehoboth Beach, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
This brings us right to our Coast TV poll tonight. We're asking what matters to you most about the Dolly's building, about the delay with the Dolly's building. 68% say Rehoboth's appearance, 22% say making sure that that construction is done right. Thank you for your answers, but you can still vote. It's not too late. Just go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Now to Georgetown, where the Circle looking to get a safety upgrade. Town leaders want to put a new barrier around the edges of the Circle. This comes after multiple car crashes last year. Right now, you can see these bollards are around the edge of the Circle, but Georgetown leaders say they're really more decorative than they are safe. The town is looking to put $26,000 toward designing and permitting new ones. The new ones would be bigger and keep cars from breaching into the center. One member of the Circle Advisory Committee says it's really needed.
Especially now that there's probably well over 9,000 to 10,000 cars a day that come through here. And so, yeah, in order to enhance public safety, they're going to have to do something.
That $26,000, though, would not cover the entire project. Town leaders say they don't have a total cost right now. However, they do say they hope to have the new bollards in by the end of this year. And Georgetown's council will talk about the design cost at Monday's meeting. If you didn't know, January is National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and leaders in Smyrna took to the sidewalks today to raise awareness about that through the Red Sand Project, where town leaders, community members fill cracks outside the police station with red sand. Others took bags home to fill their sidewalks at homes and local businesses. And leaders say the red sand represents victims who often go unseen, while raising awareness about human trafficking, an ongoing problem in Delaware that often happens behind closed doors.
It's very important not only to see victims for who they are, which are people, right? And they're less divided than we think they are. They're members of our society. But to also make traffickers aware that we do see the cracks in the system, we're actively fixing them.
If you're interested in participating, you can contact the town of Smyrna for information on how to pick up some of that red sand. The sand will be available to the community through the end of January. Coming up in sports tonight, a key piece on last year's Phillies team has been handed a massive ban. DSN details the uphill battle veteran Max Kepler faces to sign with the new squad.
And congratulations to Diane Althouse from Daxboro. She has a brand new umbrella courtesy of Paul Davis and CoastTV. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
General Motors says it will lose another $6 billion as a result of its decision to pull back on electric cars. GM and other automakers invested heavily in EV plans in anticipation of stringent environmental regulations that were put in place during the Biden administration. GM had previously announced a goal to produce only electric vehicles by 2035, but the Trump administration has rolled back zero emissions rules along with the financial support for EVs. And speaking of cars, you may have heard of Waymo cars. They're self-driving and used in some southern states. Well, one passenger in Phoenix, Arizona had a Waymo ride that they won't soon forget. The self-driving car drove down light rail tracks, forcing the passenger to flee the vehicle. And as Michaela Castillo reports, it was all caught on video.
A scary situation for a Waymo passenger this week after a Waymo car was caught on camera driving down the light rail tracks.
Here comes a train.
The video taken by a bystander near Central and Southern Avenue shows the moment the autonomous car stops on the tracks just before an oncoming light rail.
Oh, get out, get out, get out.
Causing the passenger to run out of the vehicle before the car continues to drive down the tracks near another train.
I actually felt a little sorry for the car. It had obviously sort of made a bad decision and got itself into a difficult place.
Andrew Maynard, an emerging and transformative technology professor at ASU, says while these situations are pretty rare, they do happen.
This is exactly one of those edge cases, we call them, something unexpected where the machine drove like a machine rather than a person.
These autonomous vehicles are equipped with 29 cameras and update their routes and systems weekly. But in the area where the incident happened, there was construction and the light rail was added to the spot within the last year, which Maynard says could have contributed to the rail track detour.
I think Waymo have a challenge because no matter what they do with their system, there are always going to be unexpected circumstances where they have to learn from them.
While incidents like this may draw skepticism about how safe these cars are, Maynard says he believes they're likely safer than your typical human driver.
These cars in many circumstances are safer than human drivers because they don't have all the distractions that a human driver does.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
On the diamond, a former Philly is in hot water. Max Kepler has been suspended 80 games by Major League Baseball after testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Not the news this veteran needed, giving Kepler, well, he was already unemployed. Last offseason, he signed a one-year, $10 million deal to join the Phils after spending a decade with the Minnesota Twins, where he was an everyday corner outfielder and a really good one. But his season in Philly did not go the way that they planned. He hit under 220 on the season, hit under 20 bombs, did have over 50 ribbies and just under 20 doubles. All said and told, he slumped in the middle of a season. And obviously, who knows when Kepler took these performance-enhancing drugs and how much they really impacted his game. He has not come out with a statement to, clarify if he was taking some kind of drug for a different issue and had no idea about the effects. He hasn't made a statement yet. The news just broke today. But, if you look at his batting average and his slugging percentage, which, you would kind of equate with performance-enhancing drugs, in the months of August, September, and October, those numbers were going up. His OPS, which is on base plus slugging, was nearly 800 in the final 3 months of the year. And in the middle of the season, it was hovering around 600. So Kepler, the 11-year veteran, needs to find a new home. It already probably wasn't going to be Philadelphia. And after this 80-game suspension, who knows? That'll do it for sports.
Looking like a washout heading into your Saturday. Rain from 6 a.m. all the way till 4 p.m. Some of that heavy at times, maybe some local flooding, especially in poor drainage areas. I think we could see in excess of an inch of rain. Remember to call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico. Your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Yellow alert tomorrow, then Sunday much colder, a high of 47. And then we're in the low 50s Tuesday into Wednesday. We could be looking at rain and snow on Thursday, 42. We'll watch that. Then cold over the weekend. Could see more significant snow by Sunday. A temperature of 40, then turning colder into Monday. So not done with winter quite yet, Christina.
Or not, but thank you for tracking it all for us, Bob, and thanks to you for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can always find more news and weather on our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show is next, and we're back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Have a great night.